It's been a few days since all the chaos last week that happened on Twitch as it relates to the new branded content policy. And I think the question that everybody has is, what happens next? Now that we've had a little bit of time to digest what actually happened, or most of what actually happened over the last week on Twitch as it relates to branded content policy, new contracts, new terms of service, I think that we're all kind of in this phase of wondering, well, what really happens next? And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you feel like you're out of the loop on certain things, can I recommend my newsletter? Every single Monday, I send out a newsletter called tos.gg, and completely for free. Doesn't cost you a cent to sign up. You're going to get it to your inbox every Monday. And as you can see here, this is the one that I just most recently sent out. It covers everything that's happened in the streaming space. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what I think happens next. Let's start with 3 different documents. The first one, this was updated back on June 6th, which is the same day that they updated the branded content guidelines. They updated their terms of service. They added simulcasting, advertisements, and branded content. And so if we go in here, one of the ones that I think is particularly important is advertisements, is the one that I want to highlight here. Twitch has the exclusive right to monetize the Twitch services, including without limitation, the exclusive right to sell, serve, and display advertisements on the Twitch services. Third-party advertising networks are not allowed to serve advertising through the Twitch services. However, you can publish branded content using the Twitch services as set forth in Section 9, which is what everybody was enraged about previously because of the fact that the branded content terminology was a little bit too extreme. The second one here that's important is simulcasting. When you are streaming live on Twitch, you may not simultaneously live stream or broadcast simulcast on any other Twitch-like service, meaning any web-based network, platform, or service that supports live streaming of user-generated content without advance written permission from Twitch. For clarity, you may simulcast on mobile-first services that support live streaming. Prior to, this kind of terminology was limited to monetized creators, which is affiliates and partners. Okay, so now it sets forth that they have the exclusive advertising rights, and you cannot simulcast to competing platforms, regardless of the kind of creator you are. You may not make a cent from Twitch, but you can't simulcast. Second document that we need to talk about is the new monetized streamer agreement, which unites partners and affiliates under a common contract. And the one that we need to pull out in particular, monetized streamer agreement, is this one, bits. So we have here a couple tweets that have kind of also recognized this. New Twitch monetized streamer agreement. Hold up. Aren't bits supposed to be one-to-one transaction? 1 bit equals 1 cent for the streamer. And then they link the actual section here. Also, Kengineer shows it as well, saying this. There's been a lot of noise around Twitch's update in last day, but this bit seems overlooked, or should I say these bits are overlooked. Section 3.1 of the new monetized streamer agreement remove the value of bits with no reference to what they're now worth to streamers. And so here's the old terminology that says you will receive 1 US cent per bit that is used by a viewer to cheer for you through chat or other means. And now the new terminology, which we can just pull up here directly, you may receive a fee from us relating to bits that are used by a viewer to cheer for you through chat or other means on your Twitch channel. Bits means digital content that allows Twitch services users to celebrate moments and express appreciation for streamers using the cheering feature on the Twitch services, as may be made available by Twitch in its sole discretion. So that's the second important documentation that we need to know about this. The third one is their new terms of sale page. This was about 10 days prior to the big changes. And in terms of sales, not exactly the most exciting thing, but they added in 4 new additions: payment methods for future purchases, modification of subscription services, discontinuing digital content, bits, rewards, tokens. That's the one we're going to get into, and a refunds policy. If we actually go to it directly, we can see here digital content is ancillary products and services that Twitch may offer on a promotional basis for a purchase, may include bits, which are digital content, animated emoticons that allow you to celebrate moments and express appreciation for specific broadcasters using the cheering feature. So, and then they also describe here certain rewards or benefits are provided to bits users. That means channel badges that you get in chat, as well as bit emotes that you unlock. Collectively, bits, rewards, and tokens will be called digital content. Twitch does not guarantee that digital content will be available at all times or any given time. Twitch does not guarantee that we will continue to offer digital content for any particular length of time. If digital content is discontinued by Twitch, you may have an amount of time deemed reasonable by Twitch in its sole discretion for when the date determination is announced to use your remaining digital content. So based upon these 3 documents, here are my 3 predictions for the future of Twitch. And one of them I think happens almost immediately, perhaps even announced at TwitchCon Paris. And that is the introduction of a tier system for creators. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, Twitch already has a tiering system in terms of how they classify content creators internally. And I'll actually give you those exact numbers. They have 6 tiers. They have a tier 0, a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, a tier 4, and a tier 5 creator. So the way that they classify these 6 tiers is based upon CCV. So these are concurrent viewers of people's streams. And so their original tier, the kind of tier 0, which doesn't have any additional value because it typically does not present any revenue opportunities for Twitch, is 0 to 6 CCV. Second tier is 7 to 24. And so now you're getting into your affiliates. Their second group is 25 to 99. And so you might see this called Affiliate Plus as kind of like the next step up as an affiliate. And maybe that comes with additional rewards and features and benefits. From there, you have your next group, your tier 3, which is 100 to 999 viewers, which I would argue that would be your partner class. Or as Dan Clancy often calls them, that is your torso. From there, 1,000 to 5,999. That's a big group. We could probably call those our partner plus group. And then we have our 6,000 plus, which those are arguably your top streamers. They're going to be the people that perhaps would get a unique contract with Twitch. So then again, keep in mind, this system is what currently already exists within Twitch. That is how they typically will classify people. This is just me kind of spitballing on what they might actually do. And I would imagine that we might actually see some kind of level of perk difference depending on which levels you actually hit. That end up offering people better rewards. Perhaps Affiliate Plus unlocks new emotes. Perhaps Partner then gives you the check mark. Perhaps Partner Plus gives you a better sub split. Perhaps Premier gets you an exclusive contract. So it's not officially any different than it currently is, at least in my prediction, but it does present something on paper that is attainable and goal-oriented. I've often argued that Twitch doesn't have goals after you hit Partner, and it kind of leaves people flailing in the wind without something that they need to focus on. Second prediction, and it still ties into this, by the way. This group right here, they don't get any benefit, and they cost Twitch money. You can see all this purple here. I think it's purple. I'm colorblind. Maybe it's blue. Anyways, the big parts here, the big parts of these charts, which in this one represents 18 million community streamers, 1.7 million affiliates, and 4,000 partners. This is in a logarithmic scale, of course. It's my belief that because we have this new terms of service that limits creators from simulcasting, this is the first time that they've been targeted with that, the community streamers, 18 million, and a new section on advertisements, that I think that we may see the introduction of ads on those channels. Keep in mind, the vast majority of all the content is being watched on that little tiny slice of partners, and then some on affiliates, but all of this still costs Twitch money. To process and make this video available, it still costs money. And so if they can recoup a little bit of that by running a single pre-roll on any of those channels, well, that's a pretty big W in Twitch's books in terms of getting more ads run. The last thing that I'm going to bring up here, and I've been predicting this, or I've seen the writing on the wall on this for about a year now, and that relates to bits. That relates to bits and the new terminology here. Last year in 2022, if you're watching this sometime later in the future and you're looking back at history, in 2022, Twitch removed anonymous bits giving. They removed the auto refill to your bits wallet. They removed the ability to use bits in polls. Prior to that, even, they removed ads for bits. And now they've changed the terminology both to remove the actual valuation of what bits are worth and to say at any time in the future, we may decide to get rid of them. Now, last year at the end of the year, we also saw them launch a couple different tests. One was a pinned chat message that you could pay for. That test offered you the ability to post a message, a pinned message at the top of the stream for a period of time. This test is coming back, and in fact, I think it's going to get a full release very soon. And I believe they've also renamed it to Hype Chats. Now, what does that mean for creators, and why does that tie in with bits? Well, if they were ever going to get rid of bits, they have to do so in a way that has a functional replacement to take over instead. And right now, the inherent problem with bits is that they are difficult and confusing for new people who don't really have an established understanding of the Twitch ecosphere. What's a bit? What's a cheer mode? What's a bit mode? What's a cheer badge? Why are all those things so different when it could be so much simpler to be like, hey, $1 is $1, or 1 New Zealand dollar, or €1. But there's an entire ecosystem built around bits. Currently, streamers use bits to customize their alerts. They use them to create interesting scenes or play sound effects. They use them on third parties to play sound effects in the case of things like Blurp and Tangia and other things, sound alerts. They have to come up with a functional replacement for that in order to service those third-party developers with something that they currently base their businesses upon. Now, this comes at the same time as Twitch has kind of made clear that they're going to be targeting certain things like their own sound alert system. They mentioned that in a blog post back in January. So make of that what you will. But I think that what we'll probably end up seeing is as the introduction of Hype Chats starts to roll out, there will be a time, and this is probably a year, maybe it's 2 years, where both coexist, where it gives you some time to get used to the idea of Hype Chats, and they'll offer in new functions with the alert system, and they'll try to make it more compelling to use, and ultimately try to indicate, hey, look, bits are great, but this is better. And then eventually they'll say, okay, we've had that out there for a year now. Just let you know, in 6 months, we're going to be getting rid of bits. Again, that's not set in stone. That's not me saying 100% that's what's going to happen, but that is me making a prediction based upon what has been very, very obvious to me as I kind of document this stuff and as you see these things kind of change in slow motion. This, in particular, is the first time that there's language indicating that digital content, which includes bits, rewards, and tokens, could one day just disappear. Previous to this, the language around it was not really that solid in terms of whether or not it was going to go away or not. So those are my 3 predictions in kind of the short, medium, and long term as it relates to all of these changes and what happens next. In the short term, I think that we will see a tiered partner system launch probably within this year, I would assume. I personally think that either TwitchCon Paris is an ideal idea to launch and be like, hey, brand new program, new features, new functions. If you've been a partner for a while, well, now you can graduate to Partner Premium and get all these new benefits and perks. And they're going to have to work on those perks and benefits. Secondarily, monetizing non-monetized creators, all those people who stream to nobody but still cost Twitch money. I would not be surprised to see the introduction of an ad at the beginning of that they do not get any benefit of. That one in my mind is kind of like a 1-year time frame. The third one, which I think is longer term, 1, 2, maybe 3 years, is the death of bits. I personally love bits. I think they're fantastic. But in terms of the simplicity of donating to a creator, they haven't matched what is easy for people to understand, especially as Twitch has gone towards local pricing. Having something priced in a local currency versus in a bits currency ultimately provides a evening of the playing field. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Make sure to leave a comment down below on what you actually think of this, and make sure you subscribe to tos.gg for my newsletter every single Monday. All right, thanks again. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.